Welcome to the Festival of Storytellers.
I can't tell you how excited I am to be on right now. It's been a couple of weeks of excitement, getting prepared, and I've done a lot of things in my life, but this has got to be close to the top.
Thank you, Reader's Magnet, and thank you, John, for putting this forth and taking the chance on us authors in presenting this out to the world.
I've enjoyed this immensely, Joanne.
Ellie, so have I. Thank you for who you are, and thank you, Reader's Magnet. You all are beautiful, and you've worked so very hard, and we are blessed.
We are.
I thank everybody that's involved with this process, because we know writers need readers and writers need publishers. We thank Reader's Magnet and everybody that's involved. I love Reader's Magnet. They say, we share your stories with the world.
Hey there, Festival of Storytellers. JOAB Stieglitz here, back with more insights into The Old Man's Request, which is book one of the Utgarda trilogy. And this time I thought I'd talk about the books I like to read and my influences. So let's dive in. Now, my books are based in cosmic horror, which is the notion that man is insignificant in the universe, and other beings of great power and ability occasionally interfere with humanity. This genre was first brought forward by H.P. Lovecraft, and he is one of my primary influences. So you can see it there. This is one of several volumes of his, The Dunwich Horror and others. Lovecraft's work is very challenging cinematically. There was a movie in the 60s, 1968, starring Dean. I just forgot his name. Starring a fellow who just died yesterday. Dean Stockwell, I believe. Yes, and it was a good attempt, but it's kind of a campy film. Still, it's fun. There are other films that are more spot on. My favorite one is called From Beyond, with the immortal Jeffrey Combs, who later showed up in a bunch of Star Trek shows. Now I'm drawing a blank. So let's talk about H.P. Lovecraft. H.P. Lovecraft lived in the early 20th century. He actually died in 1937. And he was a reclusive fellow who lived with two elderly aunts. He was a sickly fellow and passed his time as a copious correspondent with a circle of writers, many of whom are famous themselves: Robert Bloch, and others. I'm drawing a blank here today. Robert E. Howard was another one, as well as Clark Ashton Smith. Clark Ashton Smith actually predates Lovecraft, and he wrote kind of ethereal supernatural stories set in fantasy realms. One is called Avrion, which is kind of French-ish. That's what this volume is. And the other was called... we're falling asleep today. In any event, Clark Ashton Smith was another writer of fantastic tales, like Jules Verne, though he was not part of this circle. The folks that were in Lovecraft's circle also showed up in Weird Tales. This is a volume of the best stories from Weird Tales, or so they claim. But writers such as F. Paul Wilson, Brian Lumley, Robert Bloch, Henry Kuttner, T.E.D. Klein, Ramsey Campbell, Thomas Ligotti, Harry Turtledove. They all got started writing in these pulp magazines like Weird Tales. However, I'm not solely focused on the Weird Tales and the pulp. I also like other genres. One of my favorite authors is Robert Sawyer. And this book here, Farseer, which I met him recently, was not a big seller of his, was kind of opened my eyes to possibilities in writing. These books feature a race of essentially dinosaurs and follows the first one was kind of like their Galileo, identifying that the world is round and there are stars out there and all that stuff. It's followed by a book about the main character's daughter, who is the Freud of their civilization and comes up with some revelations. And finally, the trilogy ends with, well, I won't tell you because it's a trilogy, but it's a very interesting look at books centered on non-humans. And that was kind of my first foray into that. Another writer I'm very, very fond of is Tim Powers, who I have not had the opportunity to meet. This book here, The Anubis Gates, talks about time travel. And he has another book called Deceive, which is espionage tale. They all have weird quirks to them, so you got to pay attention. Another writer I really enjoy is Michael Crichton. Jurassic Park, the book, when it first came out. That was the first book I ever bought in hardcover, and I read cover to cover in one sitting. How many books have I already published? I have 6 books currently. 3 of them are in the Utgarda series. They are... They are The Old Man's Request, is book number 1. The Missing Medium is book number 2. And The Other Realm is book number 3. That is the Utgarda series. Then I have a second series that starts with The Hunter in the Shadows, The Worlds I Know, and the most recent, the third one in the trilogy, I literally just sent to the editor yesterday, and hopefully that will be out before the end of the year. Additionally, I have another book, which is a collection of short stories called Tales of Gods and Monsters. Why don't we give you a feel for what these are like? I'll play the book trailer we just did for The Old Man's Request, and it is it's pretty cool. So I'm going to share my screen, and we'll give it a whirl. So if we can switch over to that, I will start the play. Here we go.
50 years ago, Jason Longborough never thought that he would be part of releasing an unimaginable horror. It's just a matter of time before this ancient evil starts destroying everything in its path. Time is not on his side. Jason needs to find a way to send this malign presence back where it belongs. Unknowingly, this dangerous mission would turn the world of 3 people upside down. And Jason knows well that only Dr. Anna Rykov, Dr. Harold Lamb, and Father Sean O'Malley have the knowledge and strength to banish this entity. They must perform that dangerous ritual one last time before it gets too late. And some might prevent them from saving everything that they believe and protect and meet their ultimate end.
Okay, so that was fun. Yeah, The Old Man's Request is my first published novel. It's actually originally published in 2016, and the original cover looked like this. That one thought was kind of amateurish, so I had redone, and it turned into that one. That one. And then when I relaunched the books after the third one, after the trilogy was finished, that's when we got this cover. It really jumps out at you. As I said, that book first came out in 2016. It took me about 9 months to write it. And then The Missing Medium, the second book, took about the same 9 months. And book number 3, let's see. The Missing Medium came out in January of 2018, and The Old Man's Request came out, I think, in the fall, maybe March. So, hello, Fairgoer 752. Or is it 705? Yes. All right, I find your books interesting. I checked on your booth, but noticed that the second part of the trilogy is not included. Is it available on your website? Yes, it is. And my website is scrolling on the bottom there, joabstiglitzbooks.com. And it's available, they're all available as paperbacks, ebooks, and the first 3 books, Missing Medium, Old Man's Request, and The Other Realm, are also available on Audible as audiobooks, and they sound really, really good. Special note, the Old Man's Request ebook is currently 99 cents, but that price is going to go up to $3.99 on December 1st. So go out and grab a copy of that. They're also available on Amazon and other online retailers that Amazon feeds if you want to get them there. So, influences. I do like mysteries and historical books. One of my favorite authors who died recently is Philip Kerr. And he has a detective, Bernie Gunther, who is a detective in Weimar, Germany in the 20s. And when the Nazis take over, they pull the police into the SS, the black shirts, and every police officer became a de facto Nazi. But Bernie is not a Nazi. He is a Democrat, a democratic socialist, as they call him. And those books are divided between his wartime experiences as an agent of the Third Reich, essentially, and his pre-war cases, as well as after the war, when he is now essentially a war criminal because he was a Nazi and he is hiding out under another name. So that's Bernie Gunther Mysteries by Philip Kerr. There's 9 of those. I also was initially a Jim Butcher fan, but he came out with the Dresden Files series, and I think there's 16 of them currently. Book number 7 is called Changes. And after changes, it kind of wore away. Didn't like where it went after that. All right, fair goer 375. Hello to you. Yeah, I'm an avid gamer, avid role player. I run lots of games. I currently run a game called Lamentations of the Flame Princess right here in my house on Tuesday nights. And I play in a couple games online on the weekends. But I've been playing role-playing games since I was in 7th grade or so. Cut my teeth on D&D like everybody else. And then I found Call of Cthulhu, the original one in the box, which I have here somewhere. And I couldn't get anybody to play it. They all wanted to play their favorite character from a book, which they just made up the stats for, and that was just a lot of no fun. So finally, I kept with it. I kept plugging at it, and I found a couple folks in college who would play with me. And that led to after college a 3-year campaign from which these books, the notes of which form the basis for the first 3 books. I'm interested to know more of those first book you've shown a while ago. What's the genre? The genre, I call it supernatural pulp adventure. It's also known as cosmic horror. Or they're really not horror, though. There's no blood and gore and such. Well, a little bit, but that's not the focus of it. Most of it is investigation and adventure. There's no underlying message or political statement or anything like that. What's the story? Well, without telling you too much, the story revolves around my protagonist, Anna Rykov. Anna is a Russian-American archaeologist in 1929 New York. So that's the heart of the Roaring 20s. And as a female professional who could be a Bolshevik, she has trouble finding a job. So when she gets offered the post at a small college upstate by an aging trustee, she takes a job where she meets a doctor and a priest, as you saw in the trailer just now. And they become friends. And a year later, the old man, the trustee, is on his deathbed. And he is directly responsible for these 3 getting their posts and essentially starting their careers. So they are indebted to him, and he asks them to address an indiscretion from his youth. And throughout book number 1, The Old Man's Request, we learn that they are uniquely qualified to do it. The second book, The Missing Medium, follows right behind that one, again in the summer of 1929, where Anna and her friend go to New York City to speak to a mystic who the old man spoke to before he was hospitalized and had some tremendous revelation. But when they get there, instead of finding a medium, they find monsters, gangsters, and cultists. And this guy here, who has this parchment, which is a illustration of them, of Anna and her friends, on some expedition which this man claims he also participated in another realm. And that is a mystery to resolve. Additionally, they find the gangsters, and the gangsters are, fighting with each other, and cultists bringing on unspeakable horror and such. Ultimately, Anna and her friends identify where the medium is, but in order to rescue him, Anna must travel into the realm of that medium's own imagination. And that is the other realm. And there she confronts the Red Wizard, as he's called. And things happen. I'm not going to tell you too much because they're really good stories. If I say so myself, I mentioned that they're available on audiobook, and when I heard them, I couldn't believe that I had written them because they just sound amazing. But that's for you to find out. So that is the first trilogy. As I said, they all take place in the summer of 1929. And along the way, Anna undergoes some changes in the other realm. And she's gained some abilities that she previously didn't have from her alter ego there. And in the next series, which is the Thule trilogy, starts with The Hunter in the Shadows. Anna has a strange dream in which she's running through a jungle. What does it say? Is this like the game Diablo or maybe Dungeons and Dragons? I've never played. I don't play computer games personally, but Dungeons and Dragons is a fantasy-based game based on characters improving over time. Call of Cthulhu is the game based on Lovecraft's writing, and the main dynamic there are sanity points. And the point of the game is to see what you can accomplish before you die or go insane. So rather than building up your characters over time and becoming all powerful, Cthulhu characters have great adventures before they die or go insane. It's not uncommon to have 2 or 3 characters in the course of a Call of Cthulhu game. That's why that 3-year campaign I had was so memorable, because the characters all survived, or at least the main ones did. The game originally had 8 players. I pared the books down to just 3 of them. And right here, oops, these are the notes I took during that 3-year campaign. And as I said, I condensed these notes into The Old Man's Request, and then the other 2 books actually deviated quite a bit from the game sessions, but turned into something rather special. Yes, I've played Call of Cthulhu since, the question is, did I ever play Call of Cthulhu? And I have played Call of Cthulhu since it first was released in 1981. I saw the box and it actually was a store that sold pool tables and things, but they had a wall of these new role-playing games there, and I saw the box and I bought it, and I was immediately hooked. But I couldn't get anybody to play it. That was in high school. I couldn't get anybody to play it until I got to college, where I had some friends who I played with. And then after college, I moved from New Jersey to Virginia, and I joined a D&D group and suggested, hey, why don't we try this? And that was the 3-year campaign. I've since run the game a couple times. I run it on Roll20 every so often, but I also play other games. Yeah. So I forgot. I lost my place. So does anybody else have any questions? All right. Well, we are at 24 and a half minutes here. So I'll be back again at 3:30 today, and I'll be talking about where I'm going. As I mentioned, I just completed the 3rd book in the 2nd trilogy, and I'm going to be moving on to other things. So come on back at 3:30 and we'll talk some more. And have a great day. Thank you.